Hi, it's Dr. Lori. This is Ask Dr. Lori. This show is previously recorded. Everything's unscripted. I don't know what's coming. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at drloriv.com. Subscribe there. There's a lot of good things in the newsletter. You want to be in the know. My guests are here from all over. They're going to show me their stuff, and I'm going to appraise it. Let's get started.
My name is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. It's nice to see you. So tell me a little bit about where are you in the world?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
Eastern
and what?
Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry?
Eastern Pennsylvania.
Eastern Pennsylvania. So what have you got here? You've got this vase with these two lovely handles, a nice bulbous form, right? And it also has an image on it.
Yeah, this I got from my mother, who has a lot of old stuff. She said her grandfather was an art antique dealer in the 30s and 40s. This is a vase of, it says Sun King. The Sun
Well,
King.
we all know that the Sun King, of course, is the French King Louis XIV, right? Who reigns in the latter part of the 1600s and early 1700s. And the Sun King, I oftentimes tell the story, he put his bedroom in the east part of the Palace of Versailles so he could rise like the sun rises from the east. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you've got this piece, and is it marked on the bottom? Was it made in France?
It's I don't know if you can see that in there. It's Victoria Carlsbad, Austria.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's Victoria Carlsbad, and it's got this nice gilt, those nice gilt handles. How tall is it?
14 inches.
Can I see the back? Okay, so nice piece, hand glazed, hand painted, and then of course you've got that nice image of course, the French King Louis XIV. Beautiful, nice piece. So value on the piece. So it was a family heirloom, right?
Yeah.
Value on the piece, about $250. And typically what you'll see with these types of pieces that relate directly to French monarchy, a lot of people do collect them. It's based on actual sales records. Why is it so high? It's a big example. So it's a big one. And it doesn't have any chips. It doesn't have any cracks. It doesn't have any inclusions or abrasions or problems, right?
No, the only thing is it's a little faded on here on the...
That's from the oils on your hands. So the things that you look for with a vase like that, you're going to look for very, very good quality gilding and heavy gilt work, right? So a lot of gold leaf. You're going to look for a realistic depiction of whoever that could be. Could be Queen Victoria, could be, of course, Louis the 14th, could be Louis the 15th, could be Louis the 16th. It could be a lot of different, of course, monarchs. The other thing you look for, of course, is size and the nice bright white color of the clay. You want to see a nice bright white color of the clay and the glaze at the bottom, the underglaze too. So that's a nice piece and, a nice remembrance as well. But I always tell you what to look for. And of course, it dates late 19th, early 20th century.
My mother will be so pleased.
Good. I like to make moms happy.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. You're welcome. So yeah, lots of great pieces. When you're looking at ceramics, you always want to look for condition. Condition is going to be extremely important. My guests are here from all over. As I said, I'm doing appraisals, talking to you. Let's see what they've got.
Oh, Dr. Lori.
How are you? The last time I saw you, you and your sister were doing a video call, right?
We were
I
in
know.
your class.
I recall. Okay. I want to look at this. Well, it's nice to see you. So you've got a little globe. I want to talk to the person with the sculpture, though.
Hi, Dr. Lori.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. What's your name?
My name's Nikki, and I'm calling from Michigan.
Hi, Nikki. So what's happening here? I like this piece.
Yes, so I got this at an online auction, and it was with a bunch of other glassware, but I was really bidding on this because I just really liked the shape. And when I picked it up, I realized this is marble, and it's signed in the back, Dr. Christie 97.
Okay. What did you find out about Dr. Christie?
So I did see some pieces by Dr. Christie that seem to do pretty well, but they're all larger than this.
Of the same material?
Yes, marble.
Okay. So a couple of different things about it. Let's look at the form first. So I always say, let's identify quality, right? Let's look at the quality. So we know it's signed. We know it's a nice piece. We know the material. First of all, there's a juxtaposition. What do you look for in a good sculpture? There's a juxtaposition between the form and the material of the sculpture and its base. That's going to highlight the sculpture, right? So this is why you might have a cast bronze piece of sculpture like a Frederick Remington sculpture on a marble base, okay? That's very, very typical. So you have this, you have a wooden base, and then you have, of course, your carved marble sculpture. I like the form because what the form is doing is the leaves are actually very, very geometric and angular, yet the flower is not. Okay.
Yes.
And that's what you want. You want juxtaposition. So what are you looking for? You're looking for contrast. Juxtaposition is just a big word, but contrast, well, that's a big word for me. Maybe it's not a big word for you, but contrast is what you're looking for. So the angularity, right? So more sharp angles. And then you've got the nice roundness. And you notice that it basically all is about the same size. Also, it's 3D. You go, well, of course it's 3D, Dr. Lori, it's a sculpture. Well, yeah, but if you turn it any way, you can look at it from all different angles, right? So you can enjoy it from this angle and you can enjoy it from other angles. Notice that the artist said, I'm going to put my actual signature sort of on the back, but sort of in the middle, right?
Sure.
So didn't choose really the back to be particularly the back, because you could actually have it this way, the way you're showing it to us now, which was probably intended to be the back, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the back. It could act as the front. And that shows you that this artist is thinking, of course, all the way around the object. So this is a small piece. Now, you said it was in an online auction with other pieces, like pieces of glass?
So it was with some pieces of Orafor and like a Napier, looked like a piggy bank. I'm still trying to figure out what that piece is.
So did you get the whole group?
I did, and I bought the whole group for about $16. So
wow.
I probably paid $4 for this.
Okay, so the whole group, and you got some pretty high-end, you know, an Orafor's crystal piece is pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
This piece is a nice work of art, right? And this piece is smaller than what we typically see for the artist, but still pretty nice. So I would put a retail value of $285 on this piece.
Wow.
For your $4 investment, because it is, of course, an original work of art, and it's really beautifully designed, and it's signed. And it looks as if the sculpture, the base also is in good condition.
In great condition.
No chips, no abrasions, no inclusions, no problems. And then you got all the other stuff, which is all gravy.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It is wonderful. You did great. So a good eye. And when you're looking at those
you taught me well.
very well, I'm proud of you. And when you're looking at those photographs with online auctions, of course, try to identify the condition of each piece. Try to look at each piece. Now, sometimes the photos aren't great, but you have to also have that communication with the seller. So ask some questions, you know, can you tell me this? Can you zoom in on that kind of thing? But that's really a beauty. I like that very much. And anytime you buy original art, of course, that has good, original art has very good margins for resale if reselling is your goal. I will say that now is a wonderful time to be collecting art. It's a good time to be sourcing.
Great. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So when you're thinking about art and you're thinking about adding to your collection, remember these kinds of things. You're looking for quality. You're looking for contrast or juxtapositions, things that are different, right? And then you're also looking for, of course, an artist who has an ability or who has mastered a particular medium or a particular material. That person knew how to sculpt that particular material. And that's something that you want to look for. And the other thing that will be important is if you have a lot or a group that you're bidding on, you're usually going to do well because, of course, as low as you can go for those pieces at auction, you know, you're going to be able to get a lot of pieces within that for a low price for each one. But for $4, $5 for that piece, $285, that's wonderful. Good for her. My guests are here from all over. Let's see what they've got. They're going to show me their art antique collectibles. I'm going to appraise them, and I'm going to show the rest of you what to look for, how to do it, and what to look for. All right. So there's a piece of silver. I need your cameras to be horizontal, please. Piece of silver. I'm looking at a a glass vase, and I'm also looking at this piece of enamel. Let's take a look at this piece of enamel. It's square, and it seems to have an abstract element. It looks kind of like a cat to me.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Lori. It's Michelle.
Maybe, hi, how are you? Maybe I'm
from Eau
thinking about
Claire.
dogs and cats tonight. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm Michelle from Eau Claire.
Hello, Michelle. It's nice to see you. We were talking on a video call recently, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Well, nice to see you. So this particular piece, when I see this piece, here are the things I want you all to look at. If you look at her piece, you can see little tiny dots, almost like pinholes. Okay. That's typical of enamel work. It's not a bad thing, but it helps you to date enamel work. I also like the abstract nature of this, of the image, the cat, right? So you know it's a cat. He's kind of like taffy pulled, like if he were a piece of taffy, but they made him into a cat. I like that the cat is very, very, again, organic, right, form. And then you've got it on a square, very strong square background. So is it a pin?
It is a pin. It looks to be handmade.
Yep. Handmade in that. I'll tell you a quick story. My eldest sister, who came of age in the 1970s, I will say, had a pin that they made, that she made actually in art class, and it was an enamel pin. It was very popular in the 70s to make enamel pins, and they used to do them in art classes. This is a little better than her art class pin, but I remember my mom's jewelry box because it was a gift to my mom, and I remember always thinking about that blue pin that one of my sisters made. I was like, oh, I love that, because it's the texture of it and also the colors, which are really quite beautiful. So that's wonderful. So this particular pin, how did you acquire it?
I bought it on a YouTube live auction from a reseller for $5.
What made you buy it?
I like cats. I have cats, and it just was really a cool design, so I just had to have it.
It is a very cool design for $5, and it probably dates. Now let's look at the back and look for some other things on our list of what to look for. First of all, look at that pin. That pin is very indicative of the time period between about 1965 and about 1975. You'll also notice that, of course, that it's actually done on a piece of copper. You can see the material. So the copper becomes important. And then the enamel. So they first put down, of course, the white, and then they go in and they actually make the cat on the other side. So for $5, you did very well. I think the piece is actually made in Europe. I don't think the piece is American. And I would say that value on it is about $45. So for your $5 investment, you got $45.
Awesome.
So nearly a 10% deal, right? Where you pay 10%, right? Almost $50. That's really a nice one. And the fact that it's part of your cat collection is important. Mm-hmm. It increases value a little bit more of all of those pieces. So that's going to be relatively important too. Great. Good job.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Lori.
It's really my pleasure. It's good to see you. Yeah. So when you're looking for pins in general, all different types of pins, the pin itself is going to help, right? Sometimes the pin will actually be sewn onto the piece. Maybe if it's a cluster of beads, the pin might be sewn on. Sometimes the piece is, of course, soldered onto the rest of the pin. That pin back is going to be important. Sometimes they have a hook. Sometimes they have a barrel clasp, all different clasps, which I've talked about in some of my other videos too. But that's really a beautiful example. And the fact that it's part of, a collection that she already has established will increase the value a little bit of all the pieces in her collection. So she's a cat collector. It makes sense. My guests are here. Let's see what they've got.
Oh,
Let's take a look at this vase. It looks like it is a glass vase, and it looks like it also has a collar, which may or may not be marked sterling silver. Hi, I'm Dr. Lori. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Lori. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. What's your name?
I'm Rowan in Denver.
Nice to see you, Rowan. So tell me a little bit about this piece, and can you back up a little bit? Thank you, hon. So how tall is your piece?
It's 9 inches high.
Oh, taller.
The collar is marked Tiffany and Company Makers, sterling silver. It has a letter C following all that information, which I looked on the Tiffany website is one of their dating methods.
Thank you. That's exactly what it is. So the
I'm
dating
sure
method.
you know that anyway.
What, honey?
I'm sure you know that. I'm just burbling.
Hey, no, I think it's great. I think, let's get as much information as you can. Let's make sure the information you're getting is accurate. So in this case, great. This is a couple of different things. First of all, it's very, very common to have silver plated collars. That's called a collar anytime that there's silver on top. You could also have stenciled pieces that are silver plated. And you can, of course, have a piece like yours, which happens to be sterling, which is a little bit more higher end, higher quality. Now, Tiffany and Company makers indicates that they actually produced the piece as opposed to a distribution mark. What does that mean? If it just said Tiffany and Co. on it, which meant, oh, somebody else made the piece, but we sold it in our stores at the Tiffany stores. So that's an important distinction that people need to make about pieces of, oh, Tiffany or anything else. But this particular piece, I have to say, it's a little squat. And it's a little squatty. It's a little bit sort of the design, in fact, doesn't really have as much of a flow as I've liked. This is why people will say to me, hey, Dr. Lori, I have this piece of crystal and it's chipped on the rim. Should I cut it down? And I'm always like, don't cut down the crystal vases, because if you move that sort of form, when you cut them down, it looks like, okay, I got rid of the chip, which is not the case in this particular case. But you basically will lose the design form, and you don't want to do that. This piece is quite nice, and really the best part of it is that sterling silver collar. The rest of it is pretty straightforward. While it is cut, it's a pretty straightforward design. Mm-hmm. It should be a little bit sharper, right? It should be sharp if it's actually cut. I've talked about how to identify that. But a couple of the things that you're looking for when you're looking for these types of pieces: look for the sterling mark. Look for the Tiffany mark or any maker's mark. Look for a consistent repeating pattern. For example, the diamond pattern with the starburst in it is your consistent repeating pattern in the cut glass. Then look for what are sometimes called undulating teardrops, this idea that it's sort of like water moving, cascading down the piece. That's also important. The other thing about that is that actual cascading, if you'll move your hand away from the front of the piece, thank you, sweetheart, that cascading element actually will allow you, when you have flowers in it, to basically obscure the image of those ugly stems. So you just see the pretty sort of element that looks like a cascading, almost a waterfall element. It really shows a lot of thinking that's going into making a vase like this one. So 9 inches tall, dates to the early years of the 20th century. Value on, how did you acquire it?
Estate sale.
How much did you pay?
$30.
So how do the people at an estate sale let a Tiffany anything go for $30? That's really the question. So was it an actual estate sale where you walked in and talked to these people, Rowan?
Yes, this was a couple of years ago, right before the COVID hit.
Oh, okay.
I walked in, I saw it on the Saturday, and they wanted a lot more, so I came back Sunday afternoon.
And it was still there.
And it was still there, and they still wanted more than I wanted to pay, but I made them an offer. I said, I have $30 in my pocket. Will you take it or not? And they took it.
There it is. There it is. It does depend on when you do this. And this is the same at a yard sale. I've said this for many times. You know, by lunch on Sunday afternoon, they're done. The yard sale people or the estate sale, they're tired. And they're also saying, we've got to move this stuff. We want to get rid of it. So that's a good time to make an offer. Actually, any time is a good time to make an offer. Negotiate, be polite. But I will say that this particular piece with the sterling silver is worth just about $100, $120. So about 4 times more than what you paid.
Oh.
Very nice. Good for you. I like it.
There is one tiny chip on the foot.
Well, that might have been something to tell me prior.
Sorry.
Right? So I would say then I would be probably down in the $90 range. I'm going to slash that number when you have any kind of damage to a piece of glass.
I understand.
Even with sterling silver. But that's a nice piece. Rowan, thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
My guests are here and they're visiting with me. Thank you all for watching too. Let's see what we've got.
Oh,
So we've got this globe and we've got a ring that's very blurry and we've got a perfume bottle. Let's take a look at this perfume bottle. Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you. It was
Nice.
wonderful to have you do a video call with me this
Thank
week.
you very much. Can you remind me of your first name?
Susan Benting from
Hi, Susan. It's
Mexico.
nice to see you.
And
So
I'm having trouble finding where.
there it is.
You
There's
can
the
see
front.
it.
Right in front of you is actually the center. Can you go back a little bit toward you? There you are. Beautiful. How did you acquire the ruby glass cut to clear perfume bottle?
It was a set of 3 from Goodwill, shopgoodwill.com. It's made in Egypt and has.
Oh, and the stopper is intact?
Yes. It's carved in clear and then has gold accents.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it. Oh, I'm sorry, Susan. Let's talk a little bit about it. Some of the things you look for with pieces like this. First of all, you have an origin, so you know where it's from. You can keep it right there. You don't have to move it at all. If you can keep it there, that's perfect. So you have an origin for it, where it came from, so you know it was made in Egypt. Ruby glass, or a red colored glass, in order to make the color red in glass making, you need gold. So oftentimes ruby glass or red glass is actually accented with gold, as yours is. Cut to clear, they actually cut away the red, so you have the clear, of course, color come through, which allows you to actually see the color of the perfume, which is usually like a golden color. So the perfume, when this bottle is full, has a nice golden color, which comes right through the flowers. It's really a beautiful idea. You also have the original stopper, and the stopper is in very good condition. So that's important too, because a lot of times they're broken, and that will impact value. This piece dates to the late part of the 20th century, like the 1980s, 1990s, early 2000s. And I would say it's 6 inches tall, I'm guessing?
7.5 with the
7.5. Thank you, Susan. 7.5 inches tall. So you have one of them, or do you have 3 and they're all the same?
I have 3.
Be careful.
There is a lavender one that has a little bit different.
So that's iridescent glass. That's a little different. Okay, kind of a purple glass. Okay, like amethyst glass almost.
And then there is one that has gold applied on the outside, and it's a green color.
So that's like a green blue, Susan? Would you call that teal?
No, it's kind of lime color. I think the lighting is changing the color.
I understand. Okay, so you would know. So that one's green, then you've got a purple one, and then you've got the red one. So you have the set of 3, all made in Egypt. So for how much did you pay for the group of 3?
$45.
$45 for the group of 3 is 15 each, right? And what are they worth each? They're worth about 40 each.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, very beautiful, very nice, with the stoppers intact, based on actual sales records where similar pieces have sold. I really do like this one with the applied gilt or the applied gold leaf ornament, but all 3 of them together are really a nice statement. Perfume bottles, very, very collectible and desirable. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So yes, Susan and I did, as many of you and I have done, a video call recently. And when you're buying pieces in a group like that, look for condition. For perfume bottles, look for the stopper, look for applied ornament, look for, of course, specialty things like ruby glass cut to clear, or applied gold leaf, or maybe a nice bulbous shape. Always look for the stopper. If the stopper's not there, the piece can still have value, but a stopper will increase value some more. So look for that when you're looking at perfume bottles. And one of my other videos about perfume bottles will tell you lots of information for it. That was fun. We saw some great objects tonight, that's for sure. Thanks for being with me, and thanks to my guests too. I'll see you next time.